Guys, welcome back to Maxie's Kitchen. Today we're going to be making a 4-ingredient simple ciabatta bread. Now I'm also going to make a simple burrata bruschetta for you guys at the end. Now this is my first time making this bread, so it wasn't perfect, but I'm just happy at my first attempt and I want to share it with you. So we'll start by making the biga. Now this is like a sourdough imitation that's actually going to help the bread rise nicely and give it those big holes. So it's just very simple. You just need water, yeast and flour. The difficult thing about making this bread is just being patient. So we have to wait for about 24 hours before we'll be able to use the biga for the bread. So I'm just going to cover that up and put it in a cool place. And after 24 hours, you should get something like this. Now you guys can see that there are a lot of bubbles in there. And that's what's going to help the bread have those huge holes. So we're going to set that aside and work on the bread dough. Now, before you start working on the dough, you want to preheat your oven to 250 degrees Celsius or Fahrenheit equivalent. We want to bake our bread at this very high temperature. So yes, so I'm just mixing in all the ingredients for the dough, and I'm going to add in our biga. Guys, look at how good this is looking. So we're just going to add that in, and I have to tell you guys that this dough is very sticky, and I obviously don't enjoy working with sticky doughs because they get like stuck all over your hands and it's just annoying. But you have to deal with it. Please don't be tempted to add more flour just because it's too sticky. So as you guys can see right now, I'm just trying to mix it up. I tried using my spatula, but I broke it because it was just too sticky and it wasn't doing the job. Now you can use a mixer if you have one to do this. I have a mixer, but I didn't use it because I wanted to show you guys that you can still make this bread without a mixer. You just have to make sure that you keep kneading until the dough is very stretchy and doesn't tear when you pull it, because this is what forms like the chewy texture that you would want to get in any type of bread. It gives you that nice crust and it just gives you all the good things you want in a good bread. So please knead until your dough is very stretchy. We left it to proof for an hour. Look at how good that looks. So we're going to transfer that onto our worktop. To be honest, I don't know why I did this on the chopping board, but just look for a good surface to do this on. I took the chopping board off after. Make sure that your surface is well dusted with flour before you put this dough on the surface. Another tip, please don't deflate the dough. You don't want to do that. You can just burst off the very big bubbles you see, but please don't press the dough or do anything of that sort, because that will just make everything we've done a cost 90 job. You don't want that, so please don't do that. So like you saw, I just shaped it into a rectangle and folded it carefully without pressing it, and then divided it into two, and I'm stretching each half into another rectangle like I've done and dusting it with flour. Ciabatta means old slipper, so you don't want to be too precise with the shape. I just like everything to look good, so I was trying to give it that nice rectangular shape. But to be honest, all you want to do is pick it up, stretch it, and just leave it on the baking tray lined with parchment paper. It's supposed to just let the dough fall where it's made and then just stick with the shape. So I'm going to leave this on the counter. I'm going to cover them and let it rise for 40 minutes. And after, you should get something like this. So we're going to put this in the oven and we're going to bake it for 35 to 40 minutes. Now we're going to you can put water in like a ramekin or a loaf tin or anything and put it in the oven while the bread bakes to regulate the temperature and to create steam. It's important actually, so don't skip this step. And yeah, just make sure that your bread cools down completely before you slice it. Now that the hard part is over, which is making the bread, let's move on to the burrata bruschetta. So I have some cherry tomatoes, parsley, I'm going to add in some salt, pepper and olive oil. Now please do not use parsley for this, use basil. That's what you're supposed to use. I just didn't have basil at this point, and this recipe was impromptu. Like, I just decided to do it after I made the bread. So please use fresh basil for this. And you're just going to toss everything together, mix everything together, and just put it in the oven for a few minutes and let it do its thing. I actually also added 2 minced garlic cloves. I just didn't show it, so please do that. Now you can leave it in for longer, but this is what I got. Left it in for about just 8 minutes, but feel free to leave it in for longer. So I sliced some of my ciabatta bread and I'm just smearing both sides with olive oil, and I toasted both sides. You can use butter if you want. Now to the burrata. You can eat the skin of the burrata, you don't need to take it off. It's safe to eat and it's delicious. So I'm just going to mix that with some pepper and salt, and we're going to set that aside. So burrata is just like cow milk cheese. It's made from mozzarella and cream, so it's just very creamy like mozzarella. Anyway, so now we're just going to spread the burrata on the toasted ciabatta, and we want to put very generous amount on each slice. Please don't forget to subscribe and share my videos, comment below and all of that, please. Now we're going to add the roasted tomatoes, so I just put that on top of the burrata and topped it off with extra pepper, black pepper and extra virgin olive oil. This tasted so good. You guys need to try it. Please let me know when you do, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye.